kind of a show are you guys putting on here today? I mean, the only class in this act is sitting next to me, and I'm here to tell you, this boy's soul is intact. It's non-negotiable.
The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship.
Here we go!
When the static of life fills your brain and the world seems a little too insane, just twist that dial, don't hesitate.
Yep.
There's a haven where good vibes await.
Tune in where?
Tune in and Take 12.
That's right.
For some joy and cheer. It's the sound of hope coming in crystal clear. Recovery talk, the music so grand, a beacon of light, a helping hand.
Well, welcome one and all to another fine episode of the world's oldest and original recovery talk and recovery music radio station and podcast, broadcasting to you and for you from the outskirts of beautiful downtown Albany, Oregon, in the studios of KHLT Recovery Broadcasting. I am your host, recovered alcoholic, the Monty Man, with no weekly wine on this episode. Nope. We're going to pretty much go straight to our interview with an incredible guest that I am really excited to have on the show. I know you're going to love him too. Remember our email address, take12radio@comcast.net. Please comment, like, or subscribe. Lots of fun here at the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show at take12radio.com on your internet dial.
A helping hand.
That's right, my friends. Before we even get started with this very special episode, I want to tell you about my good friend, Mr. Matt Brown. He is the CEO and owner of Freedom Interventions, and with over 20 years of experience, Matt has been working with families and those in active addiction, alcoholism, life-controlling issues, helping to get them into treatment. Well, Matt is doing something that is really very important. Now, interventions can be spendy, and there are people out there with packages that want to sell you an intervention, which very well may not be necessary. So you want to get a hold of Matt Brown and talk to him. He does a thing called Intervention on Call, where he can give you some suggestions and ideas. You may not need to do an intervention, or you may need to. We know this for sure. You don't want to try and do something like that on your own. You can actually cause more harm than good. So I want you to get a hold of Matt Brown. Now, he does an incredible Zoom call on Mondays, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's at no cost. And it's for families that have loved ones who are resistant to getting help. Maybe you have tried everything. You've pleaded, you've begged, you've made arrangements. It just nothing seems to work. You may need some assistance with that. And if you've got loved ones that are resistant to change or getting recovered and in recovery, Matt can help you. So I want you to go to soberhelpline.com. You can register for free there and talk to Matt Mondays at 7 p.m. And he's top shelf. He really, really is. And so that's Matt Brown from Freedom Interventions. All right. Please like, please share, and please subscribe to this podcast. It helps with our analytics. And I know you're going to enjoy this show. I'm excited about it. Andrew Ace Greenspan is our guest. Who is this guy? Who is this young man? Well, let me tell you, he's a pianist, he's a vocal musician, he's a singer, he's a songwriter, and he is from Nyack, New York. Now, his style is classic pop, but Andrew's been pursuing his recovery album, Living Rough and Hanging Tough. We're going to be talking about that. The thing that really interests me about his story is the topic of mental health, developmental challenges, and particularly chronic neurological pain. What the heck is that? Now, a lot of people that live with life-controlling issues, they let it take them down. They don't move forward. And if you're one of those people that just think, you know what, I just don't know what direction I'm going, I don't know what to do, I want you to really pay attention to this show, because this young man is giving away what's been given to him through the power of hope and the power of prayer. And with those two things going on, Andrew knows that you can live rough and hang tough as well. Andrew, Ace Greenspan, welcome to Take 12 Recovery Radio, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
So what is going on? How old are you, my friend?
I am 34.
34.
Yep.
You've been through the ringer, true?
Very true.
Yeah. So how did this whole thing start? This whole neurological pain thing and mental health issues and all that kind of stuff. I mean, did you just wake up and go, what's wrong with me? Tell us about what's going on.
So it started when I was an avid skateboarder, and I developed 2 stress fractures on my lower back. That created chronic pain, and then led a lot of medication, things that were supposed to help me move forward, but actually gave me a future obstacle.
Mm.
So it started with medication to treat my pain, and then turned into addiction years later from how addictive those substances were.
Are we talking about opiate-based pain meds?
Opiates, medical marijuana.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how it started. I was also put on a lot of benzos and things for autism and psychological medications, over a dozen medications for a decade long. And
Wow.
so those, again, were supposed to help me. Maybe they got me through a period, but I was in the hospital system for over a decade long, and just a revolving door. And my personal feeling is it goes back to those medicines. I'm not saying that they're not helpful and they're not necessary at certain times for people.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was just a revolving door. So,
Are they overly medicating you?
100%,
Yeah.
especially in the hospitals. And today, I think it's very hard to get a prescription for benzos. And in 2010, it was not so hard. That was like the treatment for anxiety. Whenever I went to a doctor, oh, you have anxiety, here's Xanax, here's Valium, Klonopin.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's much more awareness, because I guess people are speaking out, and
Sure.
there's so much education on it in 2026.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think it's gone the other direction now, though, that the general practitioners and so forth are almost afraid to prescribe any kind of pain medications or mental health medications because has it gone the other way too far? What do you think?
Well, I think it's also a liability for them. They don't want to lose their jobs
Right.
over giving someone something that's going to create a problem, and they're going to come back to them and say, you got me hooked on this. And I don't think that's the full picture, but I think that's definitely a huge piece of it today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can you explain to our listeners what on the spectrum means?
So on the spectrum means on the autism spectrum. When I was diagnosed at 18, it was high functioning Asperger's. Now they just say the autism spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And while some people might think it's a little too close to people that have a more severe version of autism versus someone like me who's higher functioning, I think it's actually a good thing when you say on the spectrum because we're not all that different. Some people have challenges a little more intense than others, but the spectrum is very wide. And I personally think all of us are somewhere on the spectrum, whether we're all the way up there, all the way down there. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So my oldest boy accuses me of being a little ADD and a little this, a little that, and we joke about it. But when I think about it, there's some things that I do. Um, I begin to wonder. Like I think you might be right. I think everybody's got a little something where the tail's wagging the dog, right? Not the other way around.
Right.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah, yeah. So I want to ask you before I forget about this. I want to ask you about your necklace. You've got if listeners, if you're not watching on our video feed, you'll miss this, but it's a puzzle piece. Can you share with the meaning of that for us?
Well, some people call me the puzzle master.
Okay.
I have it in my earring too, but no, it's the symbol of autism. The puzzle piece is, you'll see it everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, that's really cool.
Right.
That's good.
I do it for a couple of reasons to spread awareness. And then when people ask what it is, sometimes I'll let them guess, or if they tell me, oh, you're the puzzle master, I'll just go with it because why not? But
Why not? Yeah.
if someone asks me what it means, I'll tell them, and they might not even realize that I'm on the spectrum. And then they
Hmm.
put it together, or maybe they think I'm wearing it for someone else. But
Yeah.
the point is to spread awareness.
So okay, so let's go back to the addiction thing again. So you developed an addiction. You developed a chemical dependency on narcotics.
Yeah.
Was there something? Was there an event or something that launched you forth into recovery?
Um, Definitely. I had an overdose in 2023, and the overdose, I was not expected to survive. I had been going into detox off of benzos, opiates, marijuana, nicotine, alcohol at one shot, and going through different programs. And uh, I kept relapsing when I came home from the programs, going to different treatments. It never worked out. And what ended up happening was the overdose at home. And I had a psych hospitalization coming out of these situations, and they had changed medications I was on. And I had some toxic combination when I was home, and I had a seizure. My dad found me unresponsive, and I woke up in a trauma room. And then I was not breathing too well on my own. I was hypoxic. I was in kidney failure. And the
Oh,
paramedics, the ambulance, the ER never administered Narcan. No one uh, thought that could have been helpful. My brother-in-law was the head pharmacist at Nyack Hospital, one of the pharmacists. And he asked, did you give Andrew Narcan? And they said no, but when they listened to him, I woke up. And hours later after the incident. So it's because of him that I'm still here.
wow.
And I feel I'm still here to share this message of hope and recovery. But the recovery didn't start there. That was the first incident. And after that, I was in the ICU for a while. I come out into a nursing home because I was not walking on my own. And then I come home and I relapse even harder after that whole thing.
Oh, wow.
And
You
and
know
then
how we are.
and then I start to have some warning signs of like not sure if it's another seizure or what it was. I was struggling with another addiction again, going into the end of 2023 at a mental health program, day program I was going to. And they suggested I go with the police to the hospital and get checked out. I went voluntarily because I wasn't feeling right. And I, my parents also didn't know that I was back into addiction again. I was hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I couldn't go home. So I went to the hospital, and it ended up being a trick. They put me on a 48-hour psych watch,
Mm-hmm.
which what like admission. It was just that's what the protocol is when you're coming in with addiction here. So, um, but like all goes back to why didn't they give me Narcan when I had the overdose? They know
Right.
my history. They know my history of medication. They have been told I was in and out of detox. So, um, but the cause of the overdose, I was told, was a combination of Suboxone, that I was being tapered off of the stuff, and I had taken methadone at home. It was on the lab reports, and I don't even remember truthfully taking it, but took it at home, and you can't take them together. You can get precipitated withdrawal and other effects, and that's what part of the problem was. So, um, but going into the end of the year, I when I went to the hospital end of 2023, I had a final detox in the hospital, and I voluntarily went into the detox. I went to all these programs all over the country, Florida, California, New Hampshire, thinking that these private places would be the answer. I wanted that scenery, the peace, how they make it look very luxurious.
Right.
But the one that actually worked for me was my own hospital in my own town. And I didn't finish the detox. I was only like 6 to 8 days in, but that is where I started to be like, this is it. I can't do it anymore. And I ended up leaving the detox into the cardiac unit because I was having cardiac problems. So if I didn't shape up, I'd end up in a box. By the time I get out of the cardiac unit, I'm in the main hospital, go to another nursing home because I'm not walking again. And then the final nursing home going into the beginning of March of 2024. I come out of there, and I am still looking for a way to get by every day. And there was 2 treatments I was exploring. One was TMS, which is brain stimulation. They put a magnet to your head for depression, addiction, things like that. And I think it was very beneficial. I did it for the rest of 2024. I had to stop as I developed chronic migraines, but it helped me with focus. I really feel it curbed my addiction and my ADHD, things like that. The other thing I did before that treatment, TMS was the last thing I did, was Spravato, which is nasal spray ketamine for depression. I was very mixed about it because I was coming from an addiction, then you are hallucinating in a doctor's office. I thought
Mm.
the whole doctor thing was going to make it better, but truthfully, I only did it for 4 weeks. And after that, I had to stop it due to side effects. So, but the Spravato brought me out of a very dark place. And that treatment is the reason why I wrote my album, Living Rough, Hanging Tough. All of those songs came from the creativity of rewiring me, getting me into a positive space. And I have nothing bad to say about what it did for me in the long run. But do I recommend those treatments for someone in recovery? I don't, because I feel it's wrong to sit there and hallucinate and spin for 2 hours and to say you're sober or trying to be sober. I think it's a last resort, and just to be cautious with it.
So you would say we're too quick to throw these meds at people and these processes at people, maybe a little too quick to do that instead of going down other avenues first, right?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. So are you plugged into like a 12-step recovery community currently?
So I'm in Marijuana Anonymous.
Okay, so you're an MA. Okay. So your view on cannabis is not necessarily going to be the most popular one amongst today's population.
Definitely,
True?
definitely not, especially as the shops keep popping up in my own town.
Oh my gosh, I
You
know.
can't avoid the smell. I mean, I was that person that was like, it doesn't smell. What are you talking about? And now I'm the one that's like, oh my God, like I can't go anywhere without that. Like,
Gee whiz, yeah, we've got like 5 of them in a 2 city block radius.
right,
It's almost like Starbucks. It's like they're trying to duplicate Starbucks because you got a Starbucks drive-through
right,
on this corner, and then you got to walk in over on this corner, and it's the same thing with the cannabis
right.
shops. Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing that's wild about this, I mean, when I look back at my own life and my own active addiction, marijuana just wasn't my thing. I was Mr. Go chemical guy, right? But towards the end there, it didn't really matter anything to change the way that I was feeling. People are driving around like this, right? I mean,
100%. And I also had a car accident in 2020 where I drove off the main highway.
oh,
Oh,
Andrew.
like there was a guardrail. So let's see if I could picture this out. The highway, there was a guardrail here, and it was a space for just a little bit. And I went through the space off the mountain side of where it went down a hill.
Oh,
I, so my car was totaled, and I was under the influence. It was also very, very hazy that night. Couldn't see the road. So,
and you're driving around under the influence. Yeah. Well, you're on this side of the grass. Praise God. We thank God for that. Um, so talk a little bit about how important is spirituality to you. You mentioned that um, the power of hope and prayer, that you can
yes.
learn to live rough and hang tough through hope and prayer. Share with us what that means.
So that means that through seeing how far you've come to where you are today, while you're still struggling, you can still learn to be happy while suffering, whether it's a little bit, a lot. I think that you have to find what makes you happy. And if there's that one thing that you can escape from, it can take you away from your pain and troubles. So I go out with my music and I try to share this message that try to distract yourself with something that you can escape from.
And you do that on a regular basis. You go out to where people are hurting, and it seems to me from the things that I've been watching you do that you're less concerned about drawing mega crowds and more concerned about touching people's individual hearts. True?
Very true. My goal is to get into bigger crowds, but
Sure. Nothing wrong
I'm
with
growing.
that.
Right. I'm growing. I mean, one day I hope to be doing the biggest recovery concert at Madison Square Garden.
I
But
love it.
right now, I'm going into communities. I'm doing small events, bigger events when they arise, and just taking what I can get.
Well, you're well on your way, my friend. It brings me to this. We want to listen to this first song. Uh, this is called the sponsor song. Tell us about it.
The sponsor song is a song that I released. It's a jingle in September of last year. And the sponsor song is about what a sponsor is. Very simple. I used to do this song once or twice a week in Marijuana Anonymous meetings virtually, where I would play the song with my guitar and I would be the sponsorship liaison. So I would play the song and then people would be inclined to ask at the end, is anyone here a sponsor? How can I get a sponsor? So it's like
Mm,
popping the question. I didn't promote it as hard, but you know, I thought it was important to put out.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's listen to it. Here's Andrew Ace Greenspan with the sponsor song.
A sponsor will guide you through the steps so you're not in this alone. A sponsor is one you won't forget. If you need them, pick up your phone. And if you're calling to say you're having trouble today, maybe they'll help you find your way. So be easy on yourself, the best you can. A sponsor can be your greatest
Sobriety may be quite complex. That's why a sponsor will guide you through the steps. Love yourself, get started today. A sponsor can help you make it through the day. Today, you will learn to love and pray. So make your plan to enter recovery line. A sponsor can be your biggest helping hand.
The sponsor song. Our guest, Andrew Ace Greenspan, a musician, singer, songwriter, giving away what really has been given to him hope in recovery, and taking his music out there to those who are in pain, who are suffering. You said something about being happy even in the midst of your pain. There are people I know listening to this show that are like, that seems like so far away from them. They're like, please tell me how I do that. I'm miserable all the time because I'm in physical pain. Maybe they're elderly, maybe they're young, maybe they're in between, but they just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You've been there, right? Where you didn't think there was any light. What would you say to them, these folks that are just feeling helpless right now?
Well, truthfully, I can't tell them how to do that, but I can tell them what they can do to get there. And that is to find your support. Support is the biggest thing. And there are meetings today. There are counselors. You have friends, family. There are so many people out there who want to see you succeed and don't want you to go through this alone. I always say it doesn't make you weak to seek help. Sometimes you think you can't do it and the situation couldn't get any worse, but there are a lot of people like you out there. And as I say, support is key. That's how it started for me. And I know that's how it starts for everyone. And then I think once you start to walk through the program a little bit, then you find what your niche is and what drives you. For me, that's music. For someone else, it could be art. It might not be creative at all. It might be business, or I don't know. So you have to find that thing, but it all starts with support and having a little circle.
Yeah. You can't go anywhere and not find a community of people in recovery anymore. They're everywhere.
Right.
I think that here in Albany, Oregon, this small town of about 45,000, I would say, maybe 45, 50,000, which is pretty small. There's probably 60 meetings, 12-step meetings going on in any given time. They're everywhere,
Yeah.
and there was a period of time that I'll call it the Oprah Winfrey era, where recovery was kind of a buzzword. I mean, codependency was a buzzword, addiction was a buzzword, working the steps was a buzz slogan, and everything. But it's much more than that. It is true. It is real, and the recovery community is really, really big. So we have a recovery resource page at take12radio.com, folks. If you just go to take12radio.com and click on recovery resources, it is huge, and all those resources have been vetted very thoroughly. There's nobody on that page that we suspect is misbehaving, so you can trust it. And I would recommend that you check it out if you're feeling hopeless. Okay, so this song, the sponsors song, are you sponsoring anybody at present? Do you do that?
I am not sponsoring anyone yet. I'll tell you why, and I'll be truthful, because I don't think it's a bad thing to admit certain flaws with recovery. For me, I have yet to do the steps in a workbook, but that doesn't mean I'm not doing them in real life. My goal is to do the workbook steps. I've always struggled with reading comprehension, writing, stuff like that. But that's why I know in MA, they want you to work the steps. You can train someone to work the steps. It doesn't
Sure.
mean you can't help them and do fellowship, but I had a sponsor I worked with, and he was telling me I'm working the steps. Like he sees what I'm doing in community and honesty and being out there, spreading the hope.
Hmm.
But my goal is to get there so I can sponsor someone. I feel like I've been sponsoring people in my own way,
Yeah.
where I'm
Directly. Yeah.
out there and I talk to people after shows, and I get texts from people all the time saying, I really, really appreciate it. It's inspiring, and I'd like to stay in contact. So that's rewarding to me. I would like to get to that stage of having a one person, but I'll
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's the that I need that allows it.
so when you think about it, if you go back in the history of this whole movement, 12-step movement, and you go back to the mothership, Alcoholics Anonymous, prior to
Right.
that it was the Oxford Group, prior to that it was the Salvation Army, and you really look at it, there wasn't sponsors per se. There were mentors, there were spiritual advisors in that. But you're right, people were living it. They were living, particularly living in steps 10, 11, and 12. I mean, doing a spot check on yourself in steps 10 and 11, and then in 12 you're out there doing the very thing you're doing. Service work isn't just limited to the rooms of recovery. It
Right.
happens in our daily lives. In fact, where true recovery and living in a state of recovered happens is out in the real world, right? Mingling with real people, not just
Yeah.
drinking bad coffee and whining about your day. You know what I mean?
Right. I think it's I think recovery is, while it's group focused, I think it's individualized to how you recover. And I think that it's always like you have to do it this way in order to be successful in recovery. I don't think that's true. I think that you need the support, you need to go to meetings. It really helps you and it gets you from point A to B. But in the end, everyone works their own way. And for me, that's been through this recovery album and going out there, staying
Hmm.
on task and keeping myself accountable. Accountability is a part of it too. The steps are there. And I think that's just one part of it.
So I want to make sure that people know how to get to a place where they can listen to what you're doing, listen to your music, and so forth. So, listeners, if you want to check out Andrew Ace Greenspan, just type that in on Instagram, TikTok. You'll find him. It'll be linked up here at Take 12 Recovery Radio. As well. What do you got coming up, Andrew? You got some more concerts that you're doing soon, or what's going on there?
Yeah, I have shows booked just about 2 to 4 times a week throughout April, May, and into the summer, getting hectic. Some of the shows are at care centers, some of the shows are at bars. And people say, why would you want to go to a bar in recovery? But surprisingly, it doesn't trigger me in any way. I feel empowered to be there because if there is someone struggling, and these days I'm doing more covers at bars than originals, but when I
Hmm.
do throw an original in there, I typically end my show with Living Rough, Hanging Tough, as I say, the anthem of recovery. And I feel that's my mission to be there because there could be that one person at the bar and they might not want to be there. They might be there because that drink is calling them to that seat.
Hmm.
So, you know, um, bars, care centers, I do farmers markets, street fairs, all different sorts of community events, things at middle school. So, wellness fairs. I'm staying active. And if you go to my Instagram at Andrew Ace Greenspan, you'll see I usually have my month of the show list pinned to the
Oh,
top.
cool. Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about going to the bar thing for a minute. I'm with you. My philosophy is, what good is a light in a lit room? If it's already lit, is that where you're keeping your light? I mean, we need to go to the places where they need the light. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Um, And so I congratulate you for that. And you're right. If especially if you're really applying and implementing healthy spiritual principles, you can go just about anywhere and not be triggered. I can go to, as a recovered alcoholic, I can go to a wedding where I know they're going to be getting a little too bombed. I can pay my respects. I can have a piece of cake. I can visit with some folks, and then I can leave. I'm not trapped. And what a horrible way to live. You can't go anywhere. I mean, there was a time in early recovery when I couldn't go get my vegetables and fruit because it was right across from the beer aisle. But that time in my life is long since passed.
Right.
You got to live, right?
Now, what I feel bad for is when I invite people that are in recovery to my shows at a bar, because then I feel responsible if they're triggered to have a drink or to go outside and have a smoke. So I hope they'll come to the shows and sit close near me or with my family is there oftentimes, or people that I hang around with. My circle does not drink or do drugs. So that's another big thing in getting through recovery. Like I said before, support, a program, and a circle of people. You might have to leave the people for whatever period of time to move forward. Maybe they're not moving you forward. They might seem like great people, but that's something I had to, make a decision about. And it was the best decision I made. Maybe I don't totally shut them out. I still care. But do I talk to them every day? No. Do I communicate with them more now than I did in recovery? That's for sure. And I think it's a process as you mature through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen to that. So, how do you feel about, let's talk about the G word for a minute. How do you feel about God? Is God part of your life? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
So it's a hard question for me.
That's okay.
Truthfully, it is. I am Jewish, Reform.
Okay.
So I was bar mitzvahed. I went through all the motions as a kid, but as I got older, I lost interest in it. And I don't know why, truthfully. Maybe it was too difficult for me to understand on a comprehension level,
Mm.
but I struggled to understand religion and how it was benefiting me. Or it's not that I don't not believe that there's a God. I just struggle to understand. And I do a lot of things in spiritual settings, in churches and natures of that. So I don't avoid it. It's just a lack of understanding to me, and I am a very spiritual person. I meditate. I do things like that, and I'm told I meditate through music, and I'm just in a different space. But from like a God standpoint, yeah, it's been a challenge for me.
So I got some good news for you. You don't have to understand the Creator to get in touch with Him. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if I'm going from a biblical viewpoint, His ways are not our ways, and I'm so glad that I don't have to have it figured out to have a relationship with the divine. That's the best way I can put it. And I'm telling you, buddy, you're doing God's work. You really are. You're helping other people, and through that, many people are being touched and are going to be touched. And I congratulate you for that. Keep being a seeker, man. Don't stop. Don't stop. You don't have to have it all figured out. God loves you just the way you are, and a lot of people are benefiting from the work that you're doing. So let's talk about covers for a minute, because I've listened to you do several covers, and I think I know who may be your favorite artists, but give me a couple names here that you really like more than anybody else.
Let's go with your guess first.
Okay. Billy Joel and Elton John.
Of course, that's my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Billy Joel, Elton John. I grew up with Mozart, Beethoven. At age 4, I started playing piano by ear, and then now being 34, what's that, like 29 years? I always get this wrong. 28, 29 years I've been playing, and I picked up Billy Joel, Elton John first. When I was in my teens, I was classically trained for 13 years at a music conservatory, and I still can't read sheet music. So that's why, like, when I talk about the religion thing, it's like a similar level
Mm,
of confusion to me, like
mhm.
understand. So, uh, music is the same way. Like, I can do music very well, but I lack certain understandings. Um, and I think everyone learns at their own pace as far as the influences that grew me into Billy Joel, Elton John as I got older, and then eventually into Imagine Dragons. And that was my biggest positive affirmation, positive upbeat music that crafted me as my Livin' Rough Hangin' Tough album. I got into other things with other bands, from Beatles to Eagles to classic rock, um, modern stuff today, but I'm rooted very classically.
Yeah, yeah. So you've been doing this stuff a long time, man. Have you ever had an opportunity to play in a large setting or a large group or a large band?
I was in a 5-piece band,
Nice.
and we played different clubs in the city, and a couple of different bands in like 2012 to 2015, on and off. But my solo work has always been of interest to me, and I feel like I shine better with that. And today's solo artists are doing well compared to before. Some places don't really like to have a full band with the sound level, or maybe it's a permit thing. I
Makes
don't know.
sense.
So, um, it also is less money for them to book than a band. But it is what it is. It's what I love doing.
Yeah. Do you have roadies?
I have I have a crew. I have an assistant who
Nice.
has been my biggest supporter with getting me to shows and assisting with my equipment. And my I have one or two people depending on their availability. One of them usually comes with us to the show with lifting stuff, and there's no room in the car. But if I don't say that my mom is not my biggest supporter, she might kill me after this interview. So no,
That
they both are. They both are in their own ways,
yeah.
and so I should say that.
Well, yeah. Thanks, parents. Our, our poor parents. I'll tell you. I don't know how they survive us after all these years. Um, okay, so I really have only one more question for you. And before I do that, once again, folks, if you want to follow our guest, Andrew Ace Greenspan, go to Instagram, type in his name. He'll be on TikTok too, and we'll have it linked up here at Take 12 Recovery Radio. So, before we go and listen to this and close out the show with this last song and have you introduce the song, um, share with us when you do a concert for a group of folks and you see their response and it's time to close the show and you're packing up. How do you feel? I mean, what's going on in your heart and your mind at the end of one of these things?
Well, after I close the show, which is usually with Livin' Rough Hangin' Tough, I get people clapping and singing, and it really takes the show from here to here. It seals the deal, as I say,
Mhm.
and it really is rewarding. I am grateful that people enjoy the song, that the song came out the way it did, and I kind of like the way it sounds live versus the recording, because the recording is me playing all the instruments. People used to like that more. I think people like a more raw sound today. So I still enjoy tracking it with all the instruments. But when it comes to the show and then I walk out of there, I am just grateful. And
Yeah.
I'm grateful for everyone who has supported me and continues to support me.
How many instruments do you play?
I play piano and vocals are my main instruments, and I play guitar, drums, bass, harmonica. Anything I can put in my hand, I'll figure it out in some time.
That is great, folks. Andrew Ace Greenspan has been my guest. What an incredible story. I love what you're doing, man. Keep doing it. Like I said, you're doing God's work. Keep hanging tough, brother. Because
Right.
I know it's not every day is not easy, right? But it's always a challenge.
It's not. I'm still struggling in many ways, but I just have to keep pushing forward. I have a purpose and I'm on a mission. So that's what, if you're struggling, you got to find your purpose, find your mission, because there is something for you out there.
Amen. Amen. Again, type in Andrew Ace Greenspan on Instagram. Please go there today. Check it out. Leave comments, support, thumbs up, all that stuff, right? Indeed.
That's right.
Indeed. Okay, we're going to close out this show with this song, Beautiful. Introduce it to us, for us, buddy.
So Beautiful is a song that I recently released in February for all the lovebirds out there. And it's not about anyone in particular in my life, but it's about someone I wanted to find. So if you're in a relationship, if you're not in a relationship and there's someone you're admiring, this is for you.
All right. Andrew Ace Greenspan and his song, Beautiful.
Can't take my eyes off you. I'm staring at the wall. I like the smile on you, shining like the sun. When you look back at me, my mind goes numb. I feel my heart beating up. That's what you have done. You're beautiful to me. Beautiful, I see. Let's fade away and repeat. Together we'll be free. Beautiful to me. Come take a walk with me and hold my hand. I'll play a song for you, a part of baby grand. You could be my harmony, I'll be the melody. We'll keep on singing and make a new beginning. You're beautiful to me. Beautiful, I see. Let's fade away and repeat. Together we'll be free. You're beautiful to me. To me.
Andrew Ace Greenspan has been our guest. Check him out on Instagram and TikTok, and listen to more of his music and his covers. And please support him. Be praying for him. Keep him in your hearts because he's doing God's work. Andrew, we thank you very much for joining us today. Listen, all of our shows are for fun and for free. Listeners at take12radio.com on your internet dial. Until next time, this is the Monty Man along with the rest of the Take 12 Recovery Radio family, and we are wishing God's serenity for you. Bye-bye now.
Don't let the weights of the past keep you down. There's a melody here to turn it around. In each story and song you'll find a friend, a chorus of courage that'll never end.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.